Shaman Main Lime here, and today, as a guest from the Lieutenant Andy channel, I'm going to present you how shit Shaman is during this set.
Yep, there we go.
There it is.
There it is. Scourge Troll.
And Scourge Troll. Now, obviously, this is the generic 1-3 that we need to have. 1-3, 1 mana, by the way.
Exactly.
To show how this new archetype can be so good. How can a 1 mana 1-3 mean a bad archetype? Well, as we will see later on, this card doesn't really have much support around it. It has one good card it can go into, and even then, when we do see it, it's just worse imp lock, and I just don't think this card will carry any sort of death rattle shaman archetype whatsoever. So as much as the classic 1 mana 1-3 carry the day archetype card it is, I don't think it has the cards surrounding it to really make it a actual meta player. So I'm gonna give it 2 stars. I just don't think it's gonna have
2 stars.
good cards. That's a
Damn.
2-star.
That's a 2-star card right there. Wait till it becomes a 5-star because Mark came up with a combo.
Well, yeah, I'm waiting for, the mini set to introduce a 1 mana card, destroy enemy hero. Twice,
Exactly.
by the way.
Twice. Alright, next card. Deathweaver Aura.
And yeah, here we go. This is... Hearthstone Reddit saw this card. They saw the card before and like, oh my god, 4 3-2s? 4? And then they remembered, wait a moment, Implock does that every time, in every match.
But better.
But better, with no overload. This card is bad! Well, maybe not as bad. The biggest crux of this card, of course, is the overload. If it was just give a minion Death Rattle, summon 2 3-2s, it'd be alright. But you throw in the fact that you've got a card that has overload, and overload is such a crippling mechanic sometimes. Of course, we got the quest. Oh my goodness, quests in 2022? No, we're not getting that. That's not happening. This card just... It could be good in a more aggro-based shaman, but we've seen that the aggro archetypes focus more so on Murlocs.
Yeah.
And obviously this doesn't have any Murlocs, so... honestly, this card, I want to say it's also 2 stars. It's just not gonna be able to... The combo that everyone went crazy about on Reddit, it's not happening.
Yep, I'm sorry. Also, welcome to the party, Cherry. You're a little late, but it's fine.
It's fine. We're not even that far in. There's more misery to come.
Yep. You ready for the next card?
Yeah, we go.
Alright. Unliving Champion.
Here we go. This card... Well, we just discussed why Overload is a crippling mechanic.
Yeah.
Well, this card is effectively the same card as before, but you also need to run Undead minions. And, as we've seen, not many good Undead minions so far for Shaman to build around in the neutral side of things as well. So, this card, it's 3 mana, summon 3 3-2s. Like, I like to remind you, there is a Warlock card that has infinite synergy with other imps and summons 3 free imps for 4 mana. And all you have to do is have other imps die. This card is just... It's just confusing. Why are we... It just seems like they want Shaman to be a token class, but then they never introduce something to give Shaman board presence. Of course, we've got the new 3-2 spells and new death rattles, but curving into 1 mana 1-3 into 2 mana death rattle, maybe another 2 mana death rattle into this, it's just not going to win your games when Warlocks are just going to kill you with curses and imps, you know? This is just not going to work. I'm going to say this is actually a 1-star. I don't see this seeing any play.
Oh, damn.
Except,
1 star.
Except if you know something, evolve exists. So maybe we could see this in an evolve, maybe one evolve. But I think you need the build around for other undead minions is too much. I think it's a 1-star.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sadly agree. It's
If
sad, but
the
it's
evolve
true.
thing happens, if it happens, maybe we could see this, but I don't think it's happening.
Keep in mind, the tokens are also undead.
True, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I just don't think it's gonna carry its own weight in the shaman class.
That's fair.
The shaman class.
I just think of it as like a, what is that thing called from Dark Moon Fair? The Duelist? I think it's just a shittier version of that.
Yeah.
Also reminds me of I think it was another shaman card that summoned 2 free 2s after your hero attacked, and that card didn't see any play, so this card, not much better.
Okay, shout out to Fusion.
Now this is a bad card. This is bad. Let me tell you the story of another card. It went by the name of Scale Naga, and he was originally a free 1, but now he's a free 2. He's a free mana free 2. After a friendly minion dies, deal 3 damage. Now, with the token synergy in Demon Hunter, it saw minor play. It was a tier 3 deck at best. Now, the good thing about that deck was you had rush minions. They would immediately die after you actually attack. The problem with this is you have to, 1, have a board, and 2, have your minions die, and 3, have good RNG for the hits to go where you want. There is so much for this card to go right that it just will never happen. You will never have this card go off well. And I did think of one combo, one singular combo. Maybe, I believe, it's been so long since I've seen the card. I believe it's called Biomancy. That was the card that was from Sunken City.
Bioluminescence.
Bioluminescence. That card, maybe, but even then, once again, you need the RNG and the board, and that is never happening. This is a 1-star. This is arguably one of the worst cards in the set.
It's so sad. Why do they shit on Shaman every 2 expansions?
I don't know about the worst card. They did include a new Rager, did you know?
I know, but you never know. But I feel like people will actually play that Rager in some deck. This just doesn't work. And at least you're able to play the Rager. You will not be able to play this card.
Unless Mark comes with like combo, then all the silver players are gonna go for it. Alright, next card. Pre-Science.
Alright, so finally we have a decent card. Obviously what this was intended for was Big Shaman that we will see later, but the reason this card is going to be good is because you get to draw a Mutinous potentially and a Denafrius, and that's why this card is good. And that is it. It's a 2-mana draw 2, potentially summon a 2/3 and draw your Denafrius and Mutinous, and that's it. And that's just good enough for the card for maybe this go around, but once the rotation happens, this card might be dead already.
I think you mean
until then,
Mute Anus, actually.
Sorry, the Mute Anus. Sorry, my apologies on that.
No problem.
But yeah, no problem on that. But I do think this card potentially will see play. I don't know if it's not going to make Shaman good. This card is a filler card, but it's a filler card that's good enough to see play. So I think this is a 3-star card.
Yeah. That seems about right, yeah. Big Shaman.
Oh boy, I think this might be the candidate for in the top 5 worst cards. What is this? What are we doing here with this card? It is just This is a card in 2022. What are we looking at here? We got a taunt body with Death Rattle summon a 6/6. This just makes no sense to me. There is no reason for this card to ever exist. It's just one of the most... And the fact that it's a class card as well. If this was a neutral, people would just look away and go, yep, that's a neutral. This is a class card that's supposed to push an archetype. I don't understand this card. And the argument to be made is we will... But, later on, right, we will see a 10 mana card that will supposed to synergize with this, but at the same time, you're only getting a 2/2 body down. Like, it's... And of course, the 6/6 taunt, we've already got a priest card that is a 6/6 taunt, heal all friendly characters 8 health. Like, what are we doing here? This is a 1-star. Awful card.
No, I have a better star for it.
Ah, yes. There was an attempt. This was just... What happened here?
Goddamn. Next card. I like this card, though. Rotgill.
Rotgill is a card that is good because Clownfish exists. No Clownfish, this card never sees play because it's just a Mist Caller at that point. You remember the Mist Caller? What a great card from the Grand Tournament, I believe it was.
Yes, it
Could
was,
be,
actually.
it was
Imagining this with fucking... What's his name? Bolvar? Or not Bolvar, fucking...
Bolner.
Bolner, that's his name.
However, I will say again that Bolner will be rotating at the end of this set. It feels like he's not been with us for long, but he really has. So it's going to be sad to see Bolner go. And I do like the combo potential with this. You throw this in a Murloc deck, you can scam some games, you know, get a wide board with Clownfish. But at the end of the day, in the short term, this card is a 3-star. In the long term, once the Murlocs rotate, the majority of Baron's Murlocs will be rotating. Of course, Clownfish will be staying for a while, but with no Mutinous and no McGurgle and just every other just Shaman Murloc going away, this card will quickly go away from the meta, and I just don't think it's going to be a long stay. It's a 3-star for now, but long term, I'm not so confident on this card.
Yeah. Honestly, if it was a +2, then I'd be like, okay, you know what? Hold on a second. But it's not, so... Yeah.
I just think that hopefully, you know, we do see some consistency in the next set regarding support. I don't want another situation with Totem Shaman, which has already been dropped. That it's just crazy to me that it's already been dropped after one set.
Alright, next card. Everyone's favorite.
This one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's crazy to me that we live in a Hearthstone world where under creep exists. We are seeing not power creep, under creep. This is a worser obsidian statue. How does this happen? I think the card is still pretty decent. I still think that, you know, someone will force this into some sort of deck and try to get value out of it. It's healing in Shaman, and Shaman sometimes struggles in that department. But at the end of the day, it's worser obsidian statue. What is happening here? It's just so weird. I can't remember. I believe it was last set. We did see another undercreep from a Shaman card. I can't remember what it was called, but it's just so weird that we've gotten to the point where we've seen so many great cards that they're just gone, you know what? We can't top that. Just make a worse version of that card. And this is the perfect example. So I'm going to have to give this a 2-star. I do think someone will force it into some sort of archetype. But at the end of the day, it's worse obsidian statue.
If it had maybe 5 attack, then I'd be like, you know what? Sure. Why not?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I just think free damage is just like, and it costs 1 less. If this was like, I don't know, 7 mana, honestly, maybe. But when you've got tools like Obsidian Statue and Walking Fountain, for that matter, this just doesn't work.
Okay, but keep in mind, Obsidian.
Hold on. Right, go ahead.
Alright, I was gonna say, if the argument is, what about Wild? Could this card see play? Listen, there are so many better other cards in Wild than this. This
Yeah.
wouldn't even see play in Wild. And that is saying something, because Big Shaman was broken in Wild for a little bit there with Lightning Bloom, and this doesn't even fix that, so this is a 2-star.
Yeah.
Some
All right, you
2
got
stars
2
well.
cards left.
I still love these cards that are just like 20 different keywords on it.
Mm.
I love this card though. The next card, I don't think it's very good, but I think it's alright. Or I love it.
I actually think that this card actually has some potential. You have to realize that Shaman really struggles, at least in the Murloc Denafrius sort of version, of getting rid of bigger minions. And this card actually has a lot of clearing potential, and I just think this is a card you can just throw into any deck, like any long-term, Renafol deck or whatever, and it would be pretty decent. You can't do wrong with this card. So I actually think that this is a 3-star card. I think it really blends well with what Shaman is doing right now. Once again, long-term, I don't know, because Shaman's going to try and be a tokeny deck in the long term once the free stuff rotates. But for now, I actually think this could be a very solid card for Shaman.
Yeah, honestly, I see this being played in like some off-meta Big Shaman. Other than that, I don't really know. I think
It's one of those cards that's just kind of to a lot of decks.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a blend well deck.
Yeah.
Alright, and final card. Get ready for the best card of all time.
War from the other side. From the other side. This card. Wow. Okay. So let's talk about a little friend from the past. His name was Rathspine Enchanter. He was a 7 mana, I believe 5/7 if I'm not mistaken. No, he was a 5/4. Wow, okay. He would play a spell that was a frost spell, a nature spell, and a fire spell from your hand. And he was 7 mana. So he sort of reminds you of that card from Galakrond's Awakening that was, if you had a spell that cost 5 or more and you had a dragon, it would be free. And then you have the other mage card, I can't remember her name, she's a 7 mana 4/5, play the highest cost card in your hand. And I find it very insulting that they deliberately made this a shadow card so Rathspine Enchanter would not be able to cheat this out. It's such a weird choice. I understand they're pushing a shadow archetype. It's going to be a shadow shaman. Another complaint I will go into quickly. I can't remember, multicaster. Multicaster, the argument is, well, the multicaster gets another draw. Coral Creeper, remember Coral Creeper that was supposed to be a 5-star card? Yeah, they're supposed to be better with this. Here's the problem. Coral Creeper is not a good card. And multicasters, once again, rotating. Shaman is not taking advantage of its full potential with any of these shadow spells for the long term, and I think this card sums up the problem with this set for Shaman. There is no long-term thinking with this card or many of these cards. The only card we've seen long-term potential thinking is with Overlord. Other than that, it's just short-term fun archetype, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the big issue is Shaman is losing its arguably one of its best years of a set ever, and is going into the next year's set with arguably one of the worst sets it's ever had. And I just don't think a big spell shaman or big shaman or token undead shaman is gonna do it. And this card, listen, it's funny. I like funny cards, and I think it's very funny, but there is no way to get actual value of this card at all, and I think it's just another 1-star.
Damn. You know, I crafted Coral Keeper in gold.
Yeah, it's just, boy, it's this year I think has been an interesting year for Shaman, because we've seen Shaman be very good, but been good because of last year's cards. And listen, this was supposed to be the set. This was the one that was going to help Shaman into the next year, and it's been a complete flop, I think. Hopefully, we can see some interesting things for next year for Shaman, but I don't think they're going to push the Undead archetype after this set at all. I think the big Shaman doesn't work, because if this was a nature, frost, or fire spell, this might actually be decent. I think with Rathspine Enchanter, we could have seen something, but with the Shadow School archetype, it kills the card.
Man, I love when Shaman players complain.
Listen, I think we'll live on. I think we'll live on. It will happen.
I'm gonna live. I have Demon Hunter. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I've got Demon Hunter. I play Battlegrounds. The long term, you hope for the long term the core set for next year doesn't have Kradgwar. Why was he here? He did nothing. I don't know why they brought him back, but yeah, we'll see what
I
happens.
guess it's funny.
Funny frog.
I have him in gold.
Frog? I have him in gold because it's free.
I'm kind of surprised
Exactly.
they didn't bring back one Somdi for the sake of, oh, he was in Shadowlands. Remember Shadowlands? Which is going away soon.
Yeah, in like, how many days? It's in a week, actually. Actually, hold on. It's in a week that's coming out. Dragonflight.
Well, I'm just here hoping for the day that they eventually add Sega CD to Hearthstone.
Exactly. The Sega expansion.
There is a shark in Dalaran just named Sega CD, by the way.
No fucking way.
What a nice shark.
Spirit of the Shark, am I right?
Hell yeah.
Alright. Anything else you guys want to add before we do the outro?
No, I think I've gotten my shaman rant out of me. I think I'm a lot more cooler now, but man, once the actual set drops, maybe that will be reignited.
I can't wait for Eddie to clip this video in one of his mishaps and where he goes on a fucking tear with the new shaman cards.
You think Eddie would actually go out of his way to play shaman? You're nuts.
He has a golden Marabi. Come on, he has to.
He's gotta.
He has multiple shaman cards in gold.
Yeah,
he loves shaman. He said it himself.
It's his favorite class.
His favorite.
Alright. Video outro. That's the end of the video.